Hey yo, Beach. What are we saying? Who we got on today's episode?
So today you got Victoria, the founder of Sunmo Snacks.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I just have your attention for 30 seconds, please? First of all, on behalf of Victoria and I, thank you so much for coming.
And you have a brand called
Sunmo.
Sumo.
Yeah.
Okay, Sumo.
But you could say Sunmo. I started the brand from my mum's East London council flat, burning my mum's pots, essentially, developing these products and selling them to the mass market.
The reason we got her on and the reason we got her business on is she is a wellness entrepreneur. She's got a snack business. Well, started off with doing plantain chips. Now they've got a berry booster. They've got green
They got all
juices.
sorts. I've seen their website.
And she managed to get her business in Selfridges, Waitrose and Sainsbury's.
You know how I feel about food and like FMCG type businesses. Not only is it like a huge market to get into, but there's lower barriers of entry compared to like building like a tech product. So it's actually open to a lot more people than certain types of industries. So
Yes, my people. It's your boy Beej.
it's your boy Seb.
And as you guys know, this is Blocks of Bags. This week we've got another entrepreneur with us. She is a wellness and retail entrepreneur, the founder of Sunmo Snacks. As you would have heard from our intro, we find her very inspiring. She's been able to build a product that has been sold in Sainsbury's, in Waitrose, in Selfridges. She is the first winner of the BBC show led by Gordon Ramsay. And in 2024, she is a powerhouse. If you're trying to break into retail this year, if you're trying to get your product to market and make it make sense, I hope you enjoy this interview. Seb,
Yes.
you're someone who loves a bit of wellness, loves a bit of looking after yourself.
I freaking do.
It's important.
What is the power of us having more people from our community having products in stores that we shop in?
Just makes sense. It just makes sense. There's so much knowledge and culture and things that we bring to like these markets. I mean, the first instance was when we were talking about Ruka and Ruka hair and like these kind of products being sold in like shops which are run by Asian people. The next thing that we're looking at now is like health and wellness. Everyone's on the CMOS vibe, right?
Yeah.
But like, who's actually selling the CMOS? Who's capitalizing on it? We know it's come from our culture. Are you a CMOS girl?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
I am a CMOS girl. Do you know what the funny thing is as well? I think because we're in the UK bubble, we see what's happened over here, but it's very big in the US. So when I speak to manufacturers over there, it's incorporated in nearly all of the products,
Yeah.
you know, when we want to develop. So it's such a huge market. And you're right, there isn't like a face of CMOS gel at the moment, which is, there's an opportunity there for sure.
And we always see these opportunities. So it's only right that we actually start breaking into these product categories.
Yeah.
Health and wellness is the biggest. I read a report that health and wellness industry is going to be one of the biggest industries within the next 5 years. It's growing at a really fast rate. We're talking spas, gyms, but on top of that, we're talking nutrition, meal preps, greens. Like there's so much to it, and it's just exciting.
And talking of greens, Victoria, I've got one of your products here with us.
Yeah.
This is the balanced green. It has ashwagandha. It's got organic colora, spinach, and something I can't pronounce.
That's good. That's a good sign.
Baobab.
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 Tell
Baobab
us,
is a-
tell us about the product range you have at the moment.
Yeah, absolutely. So, like you mentioned, the health and wellness space is really growing, especially since the pandemic. People really want to make sure that they're healed from their inside. So they're looking for immunity products. Gut health is a big one at the moment as well. And it's good, because I think what we learned is that, okay, these illnesses can come and are our bodies really prepared for them? So we have a range of 3 products. We've got our Balanced Green, which essentially is our multivitamin. It gives you energy for the day. It's got those amazing ingredients. So like you mentioned, the baobab is actually high in vitamin C, and it's known as the superfood, like all enriching plant in Africa. So in the Lion King movie, you know the big tree.
The baobab tree.
Yeah.
That's the most famous. It's the most famous African tree, you know. See it in like the red, orange kind of like they always, you know, those paintings that they always do of like Africa.
It's always the
In this,
baobab
yeah, it's
tree.
always the baobab
Yeah,
tree.
exactly that. So that's the baobab. I'm surprised it's not more famous. I guess people see a picture of a tree, they just think it's a tree, right?
Yeah.
But when you go to, like, I went to Nigeria and it's this huge tree, and the story when you go on a tour is that it heals everything essentially, but it's very high in vitamin C, so it gives you those nutrients for your day, and ashwagandha, which is an adaptogenic. So if you need like a pick me up, it does that for you. If you need to like relax, it does that for you as well. And then we've got our berry burn, which is good for weight management. And then we have our collagen protein, which is helps with your grow your hair, have clear skin, and have long nails, essentially.
That.
Whew.
It's a mouthful.
Fire, yeah, no, that's what we want to know. Giving it.
It's like that's the reason why this industry is growing so fast. It's like who doesn't want those things, and knowledge is one of the key factors to people being able to level up themselves and improve their lives, right?
Yeah.
But your products didn't start here, so
Yes.
what an amazing place to be now.
Yeah.
Like I feel like the story has been told, and obviously you've gone out and you've done amazing on TV now as well. But how has your product ended up here? Like what was the evolution of the original plantain crisp to here? Plantain for them man over there.
So the ethos of the brand has always been eat good, feel good, do good. And I used food to heal myself. So I had eczema from birth. So my mum would teach me about using neem leaf, for example, and you know, even till today, she's like, you need to take bitter leaf. I'm like, Mum, I'm not there yet. Like, so I would take some of the stuff she would recommend to me, but not all of them. But they really helped. So I struggled with eczema for up until the age of like 25. It was really bad. All on my hands. Like, I didn't get on my face, which was good, but some people do. And people have sent me pictures, and their before and afters are just incredible. So I understand how difficult it is to have that type of thing. But I healed myself internally. Obviously, in the UK, a lot of GP practices will give you steroid creams, or like literally steroid creams. And then the doctor told me I'll need to be on this pill for the rest of my life, which was just like, I don't want to do that. What are the side effects? Just don't want this. So I decided to take all of these really bitter green ingredients like neem leaf, and it cleared my skin like completely, and it hasn't been back since. So I just figured I want to start a brand that really helps to cater to people's needs. The plantain crisps, they launched as a product that I could make and I could develop in my mum's kitchen, and they were baked, not fried, so they was aligned with the whole healthy ethos of the brand still, and they were really a product that was helping you to maintain your weight.
Okay.
So it was, even though they're very popular and they're very well known, so it just seemed like, okay, it's far removed from being healthy or like a health brand. But I just thought this was something, I was starting out in business as well, and I just thought this was something that's I eat every day that I can bring to the market. So that's where the plantain chips were our hero product.
Okay, and like, how was it scaling that hero product? Because from what we see in business, you usually enter the market through like one product, but that doesn't have to be the defining product, right?
Yeah.
You can go and branch out. So what was that process, and like how far did you have to take the plantain chips to be able to develop your other product ranges?
So the plantain crisp, so we launched in March of 2019, got investment, and the first store was Selfridges, so they went into Selfridges like June, like 2 months later.
Wait, did you say the first store was Selfridges?
Yeah.
How did you make that happen? That is nuts. First, not even the first store.
The first store was Selfridges. So how we made that happen? So we did a trade show. I would love to do another trade show. I had like flash mob dancers, like everyone in these bright yellow t-shirts, to the point where, so I was at the store, To the point where when I would walk around, they're like, "Oh, you're Victoria from Sunmo," because the team had just like sold the brand really heavily, and they was like going around dancing and getting all of this attention. And obviously I had my t-shirt on, so they already knew about the brand. And what would happen when you go to these trade shows is there's buyers from all different types of stores. So there's like Sainsbury's, Selfridges, but they won't announce who they are. It's like 5,000 people in the room, and they don't want to get bombarded, so they'll only go to the stores that are interesting. So they came to our store. It was just like a tiny, it was like this size.
Like a booth, or was it like a store? Like
it was tiny. Like it was, so you know when you go to these trade shows and they've got the big displays, like the rich brands.
That wasn't you,
That was not us. We was like the smallest store, but we made the most noise essentially. And so they would come over and I would just do our pitch, talk about the business, and not knowing who I'm talking to, because they don't show you their badges or anything, and they're like, "Oh, okay, well, we're from Selfridges," and then they'll be like, "Okay, send us a sample," and I'm like, "Okay, great, thanks, I'll send you a sample." So I've got all the contacts from the different retailers, and I've just sent out samples, and I get this email. I'm actually in Nigeria when I get the Selfridges email. And obviously, Wi-Fi, internet, all of that. So it was really bad. So I'm in the mall, which was like the only place I could get internet. And I see this email from Selfridges like, "Did you see my last email? We've been trying to chase you." And I'm just like, "What do you mean?"
Not Selfridges chasing you.
Back top.
I was just thinking, chase me. If I saw the first email, trust me, you don't need to chase me. So I've like, my mum's like, "Let's go." I'm like, "No, I need to reply to this email." So I replied to Selfridges, and they're like, "Okay, we want to launch you for our summer edit." It was like a 12-week edit, and I was like, "Okay, sure, absolutely." So done all of the like background work, setting up and everything, sent the products in. So first day of launch, I've spoken to the buyer and just told her the story of the brand, and she's like, "Oh, are you the owner?" I was like, "Yeah." And she's like, "Okay, we're going to put you full-time, like a full-time listing from there." I was just like, "Oh, this is brilliant." So that was our first store. And the plantain crisps have been a product that people can relate to. A lot of, the Black community already know what plantain is. And then a lot of people outside of the community are intrigued by what it is, right? So, yeah. That was our first store. Then we launched into Whole Foods Market with that, and also into Sainsbury's with those as well.
Now, running a retail shop and having retail products in another person's retail shop can have different impacts on one's margins and also the bottom line of like your cash flow as well.
Yeah.
Have you done pop-up shops, and from a strategic perspective, have you always felt that having your product in major retailers was a better route to market than you having your own store? I know you do e-com as well, but I just want to understand, just so that anyone that's on this journey can kind of also just have that insight, just what your decision framework has been, and whether you've done one bit and been burnt out, or whether there's some stuff you did then that you do now better.
Yeah, that's a really good question. So we definitely, with the plantain crisps, because they're a snacking product, the margins are quite low. So we needed to make sure that they were in retail, because if we want to send them direct to consumer, it's probably online, it's probably like £15. Like, people aren't going to buy bulk plantain crisps online type of thing, but they're used to buying them from the stores. So the strategy was
No, it makes sense. It makes sense. If the margin is smaller, then you need a lot of scale, right?
Absolutely.
Like, that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, absolutely. So we had to go down the retail route with the snacking products, and definitely not having our own physical store, because rent costs and things like that. And so of course you incorporate the percentage that the supermarket takes out and things like that. With the powders, however, we can sell those online, because people are used to getting their supplements online, and so it's a normalized, and then also it's a higher price. So to send out one versus sending out a box of plantain crisps is like similar pricing, And people would usually buy like a 6-month supply or a 3-month supply, or they'll buy this and another product. So the strategy for the snacks was definitely retail, supermarket, and the strategy for the powders is also retail, but also direct to consumer, which is a good opportunity, a great opportunity.
Right, we are big fans of dilemmas
Yeah.
and also like practical like roadmaps.
Yeah.
So I have been in and out of the food industry since I was a kid. My first business was a tuck shop. Then I did a food wellness marketplace in the pandemic. My dad's a chef and he's recently stopped working, but he's like in and out of it. We love shots in the morning, immunity shots, gut health shots. We love making
the
our own
ginger shots, that's
we like making our own little smoothies. When I got rid of my house, I gave him and his wife my juice machine.
Oh, amazing.
Right. If we, in 2024,
Yeah.
Seven Beach,
Yeah.
maybe my dad, people love a little story, like the person that, especially in retail, I think there's something there.
Yeah.
My dad's been asking to do superfoods for a year. I don't think that's the name of the products, but if you want to try it out, I'm gonna come for you. But if we were to start our own juice line for wellness, what kind of things should we be considering when it comes to direct consumer and going to market? Because I definitely like the idea of going to a trade show with a couple of our samples. I like the idea of maybe working with like a bunch of young chefs who can't find work, and
That's
us
a great
being
idea.
like an accelerator for them. They come together and we're building in public and doing episodes and tasting stuff. I've seen so many TikTokers in the pandemic who blew up like making food, and they now got their own lines of stuff they're selling. There's a guy called Meals with Max in particular I'm thinking about, who I bumped into a few times. But
I need to check him out.
yeah, so the challenge in the brief, me and Seb, we're gonna make a juice company. What should we be thinking about?
To get the sales, definitely the initiative with the children. I think it's so important to all the young people. It is so important to give back, essentially, or to support young entrepreneurs, people coming up, one, and then two, it does, when you want to get these products into retail, it is a huge selling point, right? People are more conscious consumers now. Like, they want to know that the packaging is recycled, or that you are giving back to initiatives. So yeah, that would definitely be a great way, and it's great that it's authentic and it comes from the heart. So I would definitely do that. I would say it depends on your price point, but I would say if it's a juice, you'll probably want to sell it to retail.
Right.
Yeah.
Seb, do we want to stick with juice?
So that's my question was, how do you decide what product
I know.
to develop? And like,
Because
I'm
we've
really,
been- we've been
product
chatting about
development.
we've been chatting about meal prep. We've been in
We've
offices
got so
sometimes,
many. There's so many
and we're
ideas.
always hungry at
Like,
lunchtime, and we're not happy with Coco de Mama and Pret anymore.
No, me neither.
Like, I'm hungry at lunch.
Same.
FYI, we think meal prep is gonna be. We
is.
think it's gonna be the next big kind of startup kind of category, especially in the UK.
Oh yeah.
And there's a couple players already out there, but the market's open.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So Jim Kitchen, a friend of mine, he's killing it.
Yeah.
He's like launched back to back into all of these retailers.
Yeah.
Because you're right, the need is there. Like, even like us, I go to place like Toast, but the
Yeah.
food is so expensive, and you don't want to do that every day, right?
What are we saying? How much is it for a salad? How much are we saying for a salad nowadays? What are we saying?
Like £11.
Oh,
£12. But that's the only good yummy food that you can get, and then you go to like, you might get a Caesar salad or something in Tesco. You don't really want that.
So the question that
So-
we have is like, we've got options, meal prep, we've
I
got
would
juice.
do-
How
I
do
would
we
do that.
how do we approach product development?
So product development, it's honestly.
Do you want to add
what I would-
anything else as option? Milk prep, juice. I think those will.
I'm not gonna lie. The powders are also kind of cool. Like the nutrition. I'm not gonna lie. I've seen a couple brands in America and stuff like that who have blown. So
Absolutely.
like the
Athletic Greens.
I don't want to name no names or anything like
got
that.
YouTubers on crack.
AG1,
Yeah, absolutely.
But yeah, like there's a lot of stuff out there, but definitely in the nutrition and health kind of space.
Yeah.
Or is there even like a new product that's not even out there on the market? I don't know.
Yeah.
Like,
I think in terms of product development and choosing, I would say honestly, we go through like, even if you speak to to Shegun, which I definitely think you should have him on as well, he would tell you he's launched a lot of products. You don't see all the products he's launched, but he's launched so many. So he has the meal prep gym recipes, and he came out with pizza. He's also come out with like desserts and things, and he's like, oh yeah, launched this dessert, like took them back. He's come out with like lentils and like all of these pouches and stuff. So in terms of product development, I would say, I don't want to say it's trial and error because you don't have like an endless bucket of cash.
Yeah.
But at the same time, when you launch a product, I definitely think you should launch, like make the small, like the agile launching, to not be like, oh, this has to be the most perfect product. You kind of launch, send it to customers, get their feedback, and then you redevelop, essentially, because we've had a lot of products and some that we probably should bring back, but
are we like chopping it up in the kitchen ourselves? Are you finding a manufacturer or distributor early? Because food is different, and snacks and the regulations are way different to me making a clothing business.
Yeah, absolutely. So I would say a manufacturer, because when you want to send to retail, you need to be BRC registered, which it takes a lot to set up a manufacturing and get BRC registered. You can also be SALSA registered, which isn't as difficult or as expensive.
What kind of costs are we
What kind of figures are we talking when you say
no
that?
clue, because I haven't set up manufacturing.
Yeah.
But you found manufacturers you trust. So how do we even find manufacturers we trust? Is it? So like this stuff that's normal to you.
Yeah.
But for others,
This is key business advice and information that can help people launch, because people have ideas, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like, how do we bring it to life?
He's like, Beach, I don't want to have another job. Like, he's like, you've done enough for us to be selling food. He's been on to me.
I love that. Come on.
He's even like walking around the block.
Papa
like,
Bejay, Papa Mulenga coming through with the bag talk.
And he's like, yo, there's these units. Like, let's hire a unit out. Let's have a dark kitchen.
I love that, yo. Come on.
He's like, let's open like a lunchtime stall. Like, and then everything he said, like at the time it's too early, but then now it's actually happening. So like, if you go around East, Brick Lane, Shoreditch, all East, like food markets popping off.
Yeah.
Like there's shops in the area that were derelict that now certain people are popping off with their local cafe just through storytelling. So he should go for it. You should go for it with him for sure.
Let's do it.
It's a live case study. We're gonna bring you on a journey.
Yeah.
Maybe you can be one of our advisors.
Oh, I'd love to.
I think get some
I'd
points.
love to, because I think the thing is, people don't see what you've done behind the scenes, but I've definitely done a dark kitchen before with my friends. So like all of these, I've done food stores as well.
I love that.
So
Part of the journey. I've done that too. It's all part of the journey.
Yeah.
So when I hear these stories, it's really interesting to see things develop, and so I'll be more than happy to.
But you were telling us the difference between these two registrations that we need.
Okay, so BRC registration, there is a directory online. So we thank God, right? There's this directory. You can literally type in BRC registration, search for a manufacturer who makes your type of product, and contact them. It's got their email, it's got their phone number. So essentially that's what you can do. I think the hardest thing, and it has BRC registered companies globally. So if you want to manufacture in China or in Europe somewhere, they're all on this register.
And do we give them our special secret sources? Like,
yeah.
You have
to. You have to. Do you have to sign any contracts or anything before you do that? Like, how do you know they won't steal your stuff?
Another idea might be we might start making our own sauces. You know
I love sauces.
You know what I'm saying? You love sauces.
Sauces is a huge thing. Yeah, why is there not way more sauces?
It's like,
why ketchup and mayo?
But like, where's the other sauces at? Like,
that's true. Yeah. Okay. So with one of the manufacturers we had, but it is hard. So you definitely have to. You can send them a NDA, right, non-disclosure agreement, and that will help them to kind of keep things under wraps. But the truth is, manufacturers will do whatever they want to do. So as a small business, you can send them an NDA, and they may develop similar products. To be honest with you,
for other clients.
Yeah, I've heard it happen. Yeah,
just never know.
The
game's the game.
Some of them are very respectful.
So therefore, branding is important.
Branding is important. Your marketing is really important.
How much investment do we need to have our first, like is a batch, like See, like the first order of your crisps that you
Yeah.
did.
Yeah.
I know we're taking it way back.
No, that's way back. I remember.
But are we talking like you need to buy
Thousands or like how many?
Was that
Yeah.
like 500 units or 100 units?
Okay, so the first order of crisps. So we had a commercial kitchen.
Yeah.
They were handmade. They were all handmade. So the first, I'm saying we. But
Oh,
I
I
had to
love
start.
that. Grind.
Like 600 packets of crisps.
Wow.
Right. So yeah, it was like cooking them all out.
Wow, mashing work. Yo, you were putting in work on the street. You know what I'm saying? 600 packs.
600 packs, and then they sent them to Selfridges. So all the first batch was all handmade, and then obviously as the orders started coming in, I was like, okay, I can put in a manufacturing run.
Yeah.
The second order, I can't remember how much it was, but let's say when you speak to a manufacturer, they're not gonna take a low number, so it's probably like 3,000 packets or something, but that's
Right.
even reasonable. Like he was like, I'm gonna work with you now, but this is tiny. I was just like, okay,
Wow.
thanks. So he did like that first run for us, and then obviously we got Sainsbury's as well, so then we started doing larger runs. So yeah, I think that's another thing with manufacturing. You might have to invest in a large run because they're not gonna look at something small, or like sometimes it's just not worth their while.
Okay, so we've made our first batch. We've taken it to the trade show. We're selling it to our friends. We're using some of our influencer marketing or our funnel marketing skills. But then there's also the other side of like knowing when to pause a line and when to like start another product line. How do you differentiate and know when to stop? Because there's loads of powders you've made now, loads of snacks you've made.
Absolutely.
And you just mentioned another entrepreneur who had desserts, stopped desserts. There's the game is about cash flow and profitability, right? It's not about ego.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I don't know why he switched up his line, but for me personally, so we had the plantain crisps. We had 4 flavors at first. The sweet cinnamon we stopped because cinnamon's quite expensive. So we stopped that line, even though people really loved it. But then it was also a very unique product. So even though we
Not
had
scalable.
it wasn't as popular as the other 3 flavors, like our naturally sweet, smoked chili, sea salt. But the people who love sweet cinnamon
They loved it, yeah.
So they was like messaging, emailing, like, where is sweet cinnamon? And because it had like this breakfasty oatmeal taste, like it's like eating a cinnamon roll in the morning, but it's plantain and it's delicious. So so we stopped that line, and then we came out with our sweet potato puffs. We stopped that because the manufacturer stopped. So the manufacturer was just like, sorry, we can't meet your orders, like we can't meet the capacity that you want.
Well, because it was too much, or like what happened? Like
Yeah.
so that can happen as well. Like
That can happen as well, and because it's a puff, it's an extruded snack, it's a very specialist product to make. So that's where that stopped. So that was also a very popular product.
Yeah.
It was like the bestseller in Sainsbury's. They told us that it was selling better than Snacker Jacks. So that's a product I would definitely want to bring back. It's just finding the right manufacturer. So there's all these moving parts in business as to when, with food especially, as to when to stop or launch a product, because it might be a manufacturing problem, a margin issue, or it could just be like the demand of the market. Like if you want to bring out a protein powder, and there's so many protein powders now, right? I feel like greens, although there's players in the market, it's not as saturated as, let's say, protein or something.
Yeah.
So there's that as well.
Wow. Just things to think about there.
yeah, there's a lot to
Really,
think about.
It
It just goes to show you how complicated it could be. It's not just, hey, I've got this idea.
Yeah.
It just comes to market and it just magically appears in the shop. There's like so many different aspects to think about, and for me, I think the manufacturing piece is very interesting. Like being able to have the right manufacturers, like being able to know that you might even need like a couple different options just in case.
Yep.
And we even previous episode had an entrepreneur who set up a dog food brand, one of the first in Ethiopia. So there's some interesting things that people can create, and that's like super interesting. So thanks for the tips. Let's see
Yeah.
what we create. Or
Yeah.
we, you know, like we always creating ideas. But I think my dad is definitely someone that we should be trying to like do something with.
Yeah.
Even little summer
We're
biz.
gonna do it.
Little side hustle
It's
for him.
it's gonna happen.
I want to call it
Carnival.
Johnny, like his name's Johnny, his name's John, so to call it something Johnny's, you know, like you can go to Johnny's
Yeah,
Calf,
straight
Johnny's
Johnny's.
food, you know what I'm saying?
Medea. You know, save my seat.
You know when he makes food, it slaps as well. So,
I love that. I love that.
On the flip side, there's obviously so much knowledge that you're oozing with. This is like you've taken time to build. What year are you celebrating this year? Is 6, 7?
Oh,
Was it 5?
5.
5 years.
Yeah.
Congratulations.
What's it gonna be? Yeah. Yeah.
Hey.
I always like to ask people, what do you know now that you wish you knew then? And I kind of like to kind of like loop it with the show, because now you're around even more excellence.
Yeah.
You've got Gordon Ramsay as a business partner. You've got all of these other food entrepreneurs you're connected to, and you know, knowledge and resources and relationships play a big part in success, in my opinion. So what are some of the things in particular since 2021, 2022 have you leveled up on now, that, you know, there's a bigger platform and more resources behind you?
Ooh, let me think. I think that obviously I like hit the ground running with my brand in terms of like basically to the point of burnout. And like my first investor, she'll tell me, okay, just take a break, like, or stuff like that. And I think sometimes looking back, like just stepping back, taking a step back can really help you elevate a lot further. Like take a step back, plan, prepare properly, really deep think about things rather than just like go. I definitely would do that. Like if in hindsight, I would look back at certain points and be like, hey, let me just sit, relax. Like you don't have to like rush and do this and do that and da. Just think and plan and then go. So I would say that.
That's amazing. And one thing we love to talk about is that business is not just business. It's personal sometimes. Like, how has your life changed
My life.
since you started your business?
Oh, that's a good question. Well, I was like, I think, how's my life changed?
In whatever way, like, have you
Yeah.
grown, like, mentally? Have you grown, like, spiritually? Like, give us a taste, because there's a lot of people that want to make the jump.
Yeah.
You've obviously done it. You're 5+ years into your kind of journey, but,
Yeah.
like, has life changed?
Yeah, it
Like-
has for sure. I think that when I look, I think I'm also thinking like on a mental level, but I think definitely, I guess now I'm kind of living out the things that I envisioned. But whereas, okay, I don't know if this, you know,
No, talk it.
whereas I envisioned it in my mind,
Yeah.
it felt, not that it felt like it was happening, but it felt as though that was who I was. But the reality was my product wasn't in these stores yet, and I was, you know, just out of uni working like a corporate girly, like, you know, internship. So I was actually living that life, like the pitching life and things like that. But then when that came about, like speaking to Selfridges and stuff like that, it felt very natural because I envisioned it happening
yeah.
already. So I think in terms of like my life changing, it's more like the reality of what I came up with in my head coming to life. Yeah. Yeah. I would say that, yeah.
And this year, 2024, how are you approaching your brand expansion, growth?
Yeah, so 2024, these products are really exciting. And as mentioned, there's so much growth potential. You know, the market is ripe and ready for this. And there's, you know, you see all of these protein products that are bringing out a greens line or what have you. So definitely pushing these brand products more. Of course, we've got the Gordon Ramsay investment as well. So working and collaborating with him is really exciting, and definitely looking forward to doing that more. And we're also raising investment to launch these products further into market, so to launch them further than our e-commerce store, but launch them into retail as well.
I love that. Now, for those who are, women or from marginalized communities who are struggling to feel seen when entering these rooms,
Yeah.
what advice do you have for them?
Yeah, that's a really good question. So I think the advice I would have for them is plan and prepare. Like, I think one thing is, I do understand the voice in your head that's like, okay, I am black, I'm a woman, I'm younger than everyone, or whatever it is, which is telling you, you're, lower class, what have you, which is telling you, how can I beat these people, or how can I compete, or how can I get to the stages that I see a lot of brands at. But I think that you really have to believe in yourself, but plan, prepare, and know your stuff. Honestly, like being on the BBC show taught me that, because of course I was like the youngest woman there, and it's not just in your mind. People really treat you like, oh, okay, I'm not sure you'll know how to do this. I'm like, what? Like, of course I do. Like, one example, we was like selling on a beach and stuff, and they're like, oh, she has no, I'm sure she, like, they just assume, right? She's got nice, she looks whatever, so she's never touched a food in her life, like she doesn't cook, or she's never like grinded it out or something. So there's all these assumptions that you have to like you jump over. But I think the thing is, you need to know your stuff and be adamant about, like, having to repeat yourself is especially as a woman, is a common thing, and someone might just gaslight you or like talk down to you or be like, oh, whatever, and you might be paying them, right? That's happened as well. But you just have to be assertive, repeat yourself if you have to, and just like get your point across, really, and get your vision across, really, is what I would say.
I love that. Those are some solid thoughts.
Super solid. Super solid.
We would love to do an event with you. We're planning something.
Okay.
I think it's about kind of trying to find ways that the community can come together. Tell us a little bit about how people practically can use your product to improve their lives every day.
Yeah, so you can use them in the morning as your pick-me-up for energy, especially the balanced green. It's great for starting your day on that high note, which is where I take it. The berry burn is really good for weight management, if you want something that's going to suppress your appetite, but then also give you that energy as well, because sometimes when you take these products that make you not want to eat, you're not taking enough nutrients into your body, but it gives you those nutrients as well, which is really good. And then yes, I would say take it at the beginning of your day. I sometimes mix it into like a late night snack as well, so I'll have the collagen protein like as in a smoothie bowl at nighttime if I'm craving anything, so that's my replacement. And you'll find that the nutrients in the product really help with whatever your body is missing, you're not going to miss it anymore, essentially. So yeah, you can take it throughout the day, but those times I think you should definitely take it then.
I love it. This has been a powerful episode. I hope you guys have enjoyed and got gems. Seb, it's about our time that we come out with something product wise. See what we create.
I mean, we've got some great advice and we've got a great case study on how to do it. So
nice.
Thank you for having me, guys.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
Really enjoyed it.